don't
Well,
know.
I guess
I'm
we'll
not
just have to
saying
wait.
anything about Madam Web. I'm saying fucking stop talking about Madam Web. And y'all just keep fucking going. You say
Romantic
Madame
movie.
Web is like bothering me now.
Madame Web.
You're like pretentiously saying it, and I can't stand you right now.
Madame Web.
Madame.
Madame Web. Madame. The name is Madame. Madame Web.
Oh,
So they were like, "Oh, well, we made money, so I could give a shit what everyone thinks. Here's more money, make more movies.
right, for real.
You don't have to do that." Amanda's crawling.
I'm just kidding.
Saying you got a good voice, but you're very ugly. So maybe you should be on radio and not on
Stick to
TV.
radio,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got one thing going for you.
No.
Even try to converse with
Whoa.
those types of people.
Whoa.
Standing on a chair.
FaceTiming in from Dagobah.
It's Yoda and Salacious Crumb and like on top of each other in one of those like trench coats.
Wow.
Yeah, go get set up, champ.
We'll hold down the fort.
All right, Zach. So this is what's gonna happen, man. So you know that cat girl that's on this chat? Yeah. So for next
her,
week,
yeah,
I don't think we're gonna have her on, dude. Don't tell her, but I don't think we're gonna have her on next week.
Okay, bro, your secret's safe with me.
My lawyers will be hearing about this.
You guys are so lucky you're not online as much. People are going insane because they think this droid is sexy.
I mean,
Oh, that's hot.
I'm a stan.
It's pretty hot.
Like, how would they even cast like a live action like Wrecker? You know,
I don't know.
like you can't, right? I feel
Dwayne
like
the Rock Johnson.
Oh, there's two fulcrums in here.
Greatest moments.
I'm just
YouTube.
remembering when I played Arkham Knight. When I played Arkham Knight. I can't. Oh my god.
Whoa.
It's Modemin.
It's Madame time.
When I went into Madame Web and she
When
said,
she
"It's
Madame
time,"
all
I
over
cried.
those guys. When she Madame-
When she Madame everywhere, I cried.
That's never gets old. Welcome everybody to the 71st episode of the Evil Ewok podcast.
Woo! We got the number count.
You got the number count for once. We are 1 week away from some new Star Wars, and it's been a hot minute, but the Bad Batch has snuck up on us. How you guys feeling tonight?
I forgot we're already week out, and I keep forgetting that it's a 3-episode premiere. Correct? The first 3 episodes are coming out.
If you say
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard.
Don't
it's
worry
3
about it.
episodes. And yeah, I mean, Kat, like we discussed last time. It's like it literally creeped up on us. Like when it was a month away, we were like, "Oh yeah, Bad Batch is a thing." We're like, I guess that's exciting because we haven't gotten any news about anything else. The only news we do get is when things are canceled. So it's fun to finally talk shop and talk Star Wars again, which is kind of the whole point of our podcast and why we started in the
Yeah,
first
we've been
place. Right?
putzing around the past few months. Whenever there's no Star Wars, we're just like,
but-
hiatus.
I know, and Zach, I know you weren't here last time. We kind of had a whole discussion about everything, but do you want to start off predictions with season 3, or do you want to talk about like season 1 and 2 and tech and everything?
I want to talk about Madame Web. I think we have to. I mean, after that intro, I think we have to touch on Madame Web. It's at 14% currently on Rotten Tomatoes. People are really just reaming this movie, and we're probably gonna have to watch it.
We have no choice.
The Madame Web news outlet. We're going to be the official Madame Web news outlet, and Mr. Fett is going to be here feeding us the news. He's our inside scoop. He's the inside scoop man to go grab up all the information we need on Madame Web, preferably about whether it's the awful writing, or if it's just the weird outlandish editing, or if you want to go deep into like the conspiracy theory aspect of it. From what I hear is
Conspiracy.
Sony's making it just to kind of avoid paying taxes, so they just dumped a quick 80 mil into something and gave everyone no time to do it, and that's kind of how it reads. That's what the critic synopsis kind of is. And I'm
Wait a
just kind of
second.
like,
You don't think that they seriously thought Madame Web was going to be this like tentpole character that they could launch a cinematic universe off of?
But it has. I'm hesitant to believe that because it has such a good cast who all have a pretty good arsenal of work in their on their IMDb and their resume that I feel like wouldn't have. They're not in that stage of their career. I feel like where they would have accepted. A
well,
role under
Dakota
that
Johnson
guy.
fired her manager after this, so I think that's a pretty good hint that
She
maybe they thought it was
did?
going to be good. Yeah.
Oh,
then
oh,
and but
shiz.
like, isn't it her responsibility to kind of do her due diligence by like looking at the script and being like, oh wow, this sucks?
I mean, if you have a manager, they help consult your career decisions, so you put a lot of trust in them as well. It's all definitely they help steer you in the right direction. Like I don't know. Granted, if you're Dakota Johnson, I'm sure she just gets offered. She probably got that role via offer only, but I didn't know that. I did see. It's kind of a shame. I saw people on Twitter pointing out that like all of the cast and main actresses were kind of posting that they're excited to be like in the MCU after the news broke, the deadline announcements and everything about the
I don't think
casting and
so.
and it's like not
it's so
actual
good. They're like,
MCU,
yeah, this isn't a
right?
part of anything we've ever done before. It's completely separate.
We're in the MCU, right? Right?
Like that, I do feel bad that they were led astray if that was the case and they weren't fully informed about the circumstances. But that's why I'm hesitant to be like, really? Because it's Sydney Sweeney. She's at the height of her career. She is the it girl of like modern day filmmaking. So that's why I'm like, how could this have happened to her? I just feel bad.
A Sweeney and a miss.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is sad for her. I mean, I feel like she can't really catch a break. I mean, after Euphoria, it's kind of been she's been getting typecast a lot, right? So like the one time she's in a position of playing a character that supposedly could have character development about more than just her physical attributes, right? It ends up being a total crash and burn and failure at the box office, and it's so sad. I mean, Dakota Johnson, I feel like is always going to get roles if she wants to, and I don't really think this is going to affect her at all. I mean, she probably got like a fat paycheck, so whatever. It's more like everyone else who we don't know that's in it. It's like they're probably not going to get work, or it's going to be very tough for them. So I feel bad. I always feel like it's a lot of the responsibility of thinking about the actors and actresses should fall on the directors and the writers of this, because they're like,
Right.
if you get a paycheck, maybe think about who's going to be portraying your role and whether or not they're going to be shown in a good light, or they're just going to be, harassed the rest of their lives, like Jake Lloyd. I mean, I feel like child actors in general, for a lot of these, are always going to be bullied when they go to school. So I don't think that's ever avoidable. But what is avoidable is shitty writing. Just hire the right people. Put Zach in there. Let Zach write about
man, I wouldn't have touched Madame Web with a 90-foot pole. It's just
like, all right, Zach, we need you to write the hook of this. What's like the hook, the hook, line, and sinker of the entire movie? You're like, it's Modemin time.
No, I wouldn't have touched this because what they're trying to do is make like a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man, and it makes no sense. They're only doing it so that they can continue to retain the rights to Spider-Man in a strange way, because their contract with Marvel stipulates that they have to put out a Spider-Man related or Spider-Man movie every so many years, and so in order to keep the rights. So that's why they keep making these like Venoms and Morbiuses and Cravens and Madames.
I should not have said anything. I was like so over the conversation, and the moment I say Madame, now it's like a whole thing.
No, I will literally never actually pronounce it as Madam. I even just temporarily forgot what's the actual title.
What is that word?
When I was a kid and I saw the word Madam, I always said Madame, and then my mom corrected me, and I was like, oh, well then why is it spelled like that?
You're the one who set us off on this trajectory.
It comes full circle. What up, Jerry? And that's cool, Colin. It's cool you're seeing Hayden again. He was at MegaCon. So is Ewan. Everyone was at MegaCon. this year. I don't know if you guys saw the news about that
Yeah.
Not us.
convention.
That was what was
Yeah.
in, was that in
We didn't
Florida?
get it. We didn't get the evil Ewok booth. Next year we'll be right in front.
Daddy Josh.
What up? Should have made a Black Cat movie before the Madam Web.
They probably should have made a lot of movies before Madame Web.
I can't trust myself though if I do go see it because I went into Morbius with all the same. It had all the same trash talking.
Didn't
going
you like
on,
it?
And I liked it. So I can't be
Oh.
trusted.
Oh.
I can't be trusted.
So Kat, so Zach, when we did our viewing of The Last Airbender, I was like, for the love of God, please don't give it like a 6. And she's just like 5.5. I mean, yeah. I'm like, how are you going to give something so god awful a 5.5 when there's like so many other more deserving movies that were like average that deserve a 5.5?
Let me ask you this: what is the worst movie you've ever seen, Kat, and what would you have graded it?
Oh, can I get back to you on that?
5.5.
Because I don't know. I have to think.
She can't objectively say something is bad. It's, like her psyche is just like, I feel bad. I'm just gonna give it a 5 or a 6.
Pity 5.
Yeah,
it's a pity,
which
5.
is worse than like a legitimate 1. Honestly, if I were getting criticized, I'd be like, oh, I'll give you a 5. I can't go any lower than that. It's like, okay, just be real with me. You know,
Just give me a 1, Kat.
Well, listen. I guess I just have a lower standards. I don't know, but I go into these movies with the backstory. I saw Morbius like 6 months after the fact, so it had gotten absolutely just eviscerated online, and so I went in thinking it was going to be the worst thing in the world, and when it wasn't, I feel like a lot of it just plays into like mob mentality of people ganging up on these films, when I'm like, objectively, if you tune out all the noise, it's not that bad. But maybe I'm just awful. Maybe I need.
How about
to
you just
delay.
tune out all the noise? Don't see anything that would change your opinion, and then give your actual opinion. Therefore, you wouldn't feel like you're a part of the mob because you don't know if there's a mob or not. So
Exactly.
just do that.
Exactly.
I just know that when I watched the trailer for Madame, I had no idea who Madame Web was, and when I watched the trailer, I immediately texted Alex and I was like, that was the worst trailer I think I've ever seen. Like, it was so bad.
Like, I don't know how you can have a trailer that goes on for 3 minutes and it says nothing.
It simultaneously gave the entire plot away while confusing the living hell out of me. I don't know how it did that, but it did it.
Like, it didn't even, like, it showed motivation. It was funny because I guess what they were saying is the motivation shown by the bad guy in the trailer is the furthest it goes in the actual movie. Like, you don't actually know anything about the bad guy other than he's bad, just like in the trailer, which is, in the trailer, it's broad. But I guess in the whole film, it's extremely broad about his character, and you don't actually know his motivations or who he is. He's just bad for the sake of being bad, which is like kind of funny.
He was in the
when you think about it.
rainforest with his mother before she died while they were researching spiders or something. What was the line?
Sounds so much better than probably what happened.
He was researching spiders in the rainforest with my mother right before she died. I forget, because that's trending right now as well, because allegedly that's not even in the actual cut of the film.
It's not even in the movie.
This is all right. This
like
is
a
all
throwaway line.
Did you see it already, Alex? Have you seen it?
No, but I've been hearing reviews, spoiler reviews,
yeah,
about it. Because I'm like, I'm not gonna go see it. Are you fucking
We
joking?
have to, you guys. We gotta commit to the bet. We have no choice.
We have to.
Let's make it a competition. Who can stay the longest? Let's put some.
And we can have
stakes in it.
T-shirts that say "I watched Madame Web all the way through." I survived Madame Web. She Madame all over me in the theater,
And I cried.
and I
I
cried.
couldn't get over it. I cried alone in the theater that night.
Okay, should we talk?
Yeah.
I feel like have we gone through the trailer of Bad Batch season 3?
Me and Kat did, but if you want to go
Okay.
through it again, we can.
I see how it is.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we can. We've been there, done that. Whoa!
Alex, he's one with the Force.
How do I
Alex
fix
Invisible.
this?
Oh Jesus!
I don't know how to fix. Maybe I only made it for 2 people. I didn't make it for 3 people.
Oh, perhaps.
Like I disappear.
You become
if
a
you want to
disembodied
show
voice.
media.
That's funny. Do you want
That
it? Do you want to
might
go through the
be.
trailer again? I guess we can go through the trailer again.
We don't have to go through it in depth, but
We can just pull up stills and we can talk about it.
I just feel like Bad Batch. I'm very rusty on like what's happening, what has happened.
Not to be confused with my trailer.
Yes, I
As
saw
I
the Darth Vader one. You tricked me for a second. I was like, oh, is my boy gonna
It
be in
looks
it?
good, doesn't it?
It does.
Might be as close as we're gonna get.
Cat, I don't
Yeah.
love the negativity. I don't love the pessimism.
I'm starting to lose faith.
Oh,
I'm
we're
starting to-
100% not getting them, but yeah.
I think it would almost like ruin. It would. Me
The
and Kat were
current
talking about this.
villains.
Like the allure of Vader is he's only there when it's like really important, right? And I think that this is something that can be handled by what's his name? Hemlock. I feel like this is
Hemlock?
just like a Hemlock thing, or like a even at the highest, like Tarkin. Right? I can't imagine Vader ever getting involved.
Yeah, I think if Vader shows up, like they're screwed. Like how are they like even the Rebel crew in Star Wars Rebels, they only survived because he let them live. Like he was
Right.
using them to get to the other rebels. So
What are we doing right now? That's
Sorry,
what many
sorry.
people are theorizing, that this season is not going to end with lots of survival. I think a lot of people are predicting that the batch is pretty much going to be wiped out, which I don't know that they would do that, but I mean,
you don't think they'll all retire happily to Pabu?
I think that's
Pabu.
exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, because we don't hear about Pabu ever again. Either they die
Mm.
or they're retired on Pabu. Which honestly, I mean, I feel like it'd be cool if something dramatic happens to him. If Tech isn't dead though, I feel like that is just the nail in the coffin for like, oh no, everyone's just gonna survive
Nobody
all the time.
dies. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody ever dies in Disney Star Wars anymore.
Sid caught Tech. She caught
Oh
him before he hit
my
the ground.
God.
She was just standing down there.
Yeah.
She's like,
I gotcha, buddy. I gotcha, goggles.
No.
Now you
please.
really owe me one, goggles.
Oh my God. Jeez. Yeah, hopefully we don't see much of her this season.
She's
I mean,
not in
what's-
this trailer, right? I don't remember.
I don't
seeing
think
her.
she
no.
is
They're
at
gonna
all.
save that for the actual show when we don't expect it, and it's gonna be a 5-episode character arc of just Sid. You're gonna be like, wow, the whole premiere is all Sid. We don't
I
even see
hope
the Bad Batch.
the opening scene is a drunken Sid, like going through the motions while Hurt by Johnny Cash plays.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Me and Kat were going through this. There were a couple things. See if I can pull the frame up again. Do you remember the frame, Kat?
Did they change their armor painting again?
I think it's just really worn. And that's
Okay.
that's what we were talking about. We're like, I like the fact that there it was. We see Crosshair right there.
Yes.
It's like a
So
flash frame. It's a flash frame, but it's Crosshair, right? Oh, unless it's someone else wearing his armor.
Is it
kinda
is
weird.
it Echo? No, it doesn't.
Oh,
look
it could
like
be some.
Echo.
I mean, would someone wear his armor though? I feel like that'd be kind of weird.
Right. Isn't that a little bit like, but like if that is Crosshair, I feel like it's kind of ballsy. They know people are gonna go frame for frame, shot for shot, clicking through these trailers. So I feel like it's kind of a ballsy move to have him.
Well, they also released a clip of Omega talking to Crosshair, so it's like it's already hinted that they're probably going to break out together, right? Which means it's exciting because that probably means that is not the most important part of the show. Like that's probably happens in like the opening 3 episodes. Omega breaks out, so which would be cool because then that means everything in the trailer is pretty much early, and all the good stuff is saved for later, unless it's all filler episodes of Sid. But I don't think so.
There's no way.
I wouldn't say there's no way.
You can never count Sid out.
This is the Bad Batch we're talking about.
Never count Sid out.
Leave it to Zach to keep things real.
Yeah, I need to keep you guys grounded.
So
why would they
pretty
show
much go back.
that?
Yeah, they go back to tech, right? And I feel like the only time
Tick.
like they wouldn't do that just for the sake of nostalgia or feeling bad. There's definitely a something implied here, like whether he's actually still alive or
Yeah.
he's that dark trooper in the trailer that we'll talk about later or
Well-
whatever, right? Whatever theory's going around.
Well, what's gonna happen is the season's gonna open with him fighting the Balrog as they're falling, and then he's gonna become Tech the White.
Oh my god. He comes back.
You know, after Filoni did the whole Eye of Sauron thing or Eye of Sion, it wouldn't surprise me if they kind of were just like, let's just keep taking from
This is Lord of the Rings now.
They're like, people don't remember Lord of the Rings. Let's just steal all that shit.
That was like 20 years ago. People don't remember that. I feel like they have had one of those shots of just like a wide shot of a bunch of like stormtroopers or clones running in every single trailer of the Bad Batch ever.
Even if it's like that's the only scene in the entire show we see of stormtroopers running.
Yeah, they always
include
throw it in there.
Yeah,
it makes the cut.
because it drives the hype. Like that looks sick, dude. Where are they running
It
to?
really does. It really does.
They're running to Vader.
They're running to Moochie. There he is. There's our boy.
I just gotta hear his voice here. Hold on.
Secure her in a cell.
I didn't know he was the dude from Westworld.
Right?
I did not know that.
I was so shocked as well when I learned because I guess his character, it speaks to his range because his character in Westworld is like the super nice dude who obviously then gets corrupted. Yeah, but leading up to, they have to create such a stark contrast, and he's like such a great hero. And then when I learned that he could easily just use his voice to sound so menacing, I was like, oh my god.
I think I saw stormtroopers.
Alex is dead. Everybody rip in the chat for Alex. Rip.
I'm dead?
Rip.
Wait, meaning you can't see him?
They couldn't see him for a little bit. He's back now.
Was Alex all black again?
No, he just vanished.
Whoa, cat. Whoa. Well, hold on. We need to put up. Hold on. That's not parental advisory. Racism is not permitted.
It only works when she's over there.
True.
No, this stream.
Oh,
so we don't get demonetized.
Oh, okay. So if you throw up a parental advisory, you can't get demonetized.
Even after it happens.
It's for our protection.
It's a moche.
Okay, so obviously Emery's gonna help her. You guys think Emery's gonna help her get out with Crosshair? You think that's probably what's gonna happen?
Probably. Wow, Cat is racist.
No, it was an inside
Not clickbait.
joke. It was a reference. Y'all had to be there.
Cat cancels herself, not clickbait.
God.
I need to figure out how to like just make her soul. How can I? There we go.
I can hear Tom chuckling from the other room.
I know how to do that now. Anytime there needs to be a moment of silence for someone, we just do that.
Put them as the main focus.
Staying quiet is my strategy.
Being imprisoned is my strategy.
Zach, how are you capable of doing every single freaking character?
I like how the voice actress is. It's literally her. It's literally her voice. Like
She's not doing
literally
anything
Omega.
to her voice.
It's literally Omega talking, and I think it's just so adorable. Like, oh, it's a little Omega on an interview.
I could probably take her job if I wanted to.
Take her gerbs.
On February 21st. I'm surprised Palpatine is back.
I know. Well, they used him very sparingly.
The future of this empire.
That's who we're talking about.
If that's Tech, dude, I'll be so pissed.
It would be so dumb. I'm sorry. It really would be. I mean,
it would be
it's
so
fun
stupid
to theorize and see internet speculation about it, but there's also time to be critical about some theories, and that's dumb. I hate that. This needs to be something else.
That's obviously Sid.
Oh,
it's a dark trooper. It's something. It's Sid. Yeah.
Whatever is needed to accomplish this goal, you will have it.
And I remember when we first talked about this, Kat was like, "Oh my god, it's Vader." I'm just like, "Nah, dude, it's Hemlock. He's obviously talking to Hemlock. He's not talking to Vader. There's no way. There's no way. Like this is what's important right
Let me
now for Vader."
dream.
I know.
It could be a big test for Vader. It could be a big
If you're
first
right,
test.
I feel like we should do something. If Kat's right about it being Vader.
Lord knows I won't be. I'm certainly not gonna be right. No, my faith that Vader will finally be making an appearance in this show is waning by the second. I was super confident going into season 1. I was like, "We're gonna see Vader," and then I got slapped with the realization real quick that it's not his time. It's not his place. I don't think. And you know what? It's a testament to like we're saying, Hemlock is actually a great villain. Who was his predecessor? Oh my god, what was his name? Rampart was a really good villain.
I
Like I
forgot
feel
about
like
him.
well, I guess
I'm really happy about Hemlock. I think Hemlock is perfectly taking up the role of Rampart,
Yeah.
right? Rampart was kind of like the guy
Yes.
wanting to prove himself, and Hemlock's just
Yeah.
like, dude, I've been doing this forever. I'm fucking
right. Mhm.
evil."
He doesn't
I
Right?
just
even-
I just
right.
love a soft-spoken villain.
Yes.
Yeah. That's true.
So that's like this is the one show that I feel like has actually really established some good original villains of its own. So to introduce Vader, I feel like might risk squandering what they've built up the sake of originality.
Wondering his importance, right? It makes it to where he's not as important now. Meanwhile,
True.
Palpatine's talking about the importance of
Unless he shows up and kills them all.
they just all die. And then it's about Sid for the next 8 episodes.
I want to hear Vader say either Pabu or Moochie.
I don't even know how that would go down.
It appears your pet, Moochie,
Moochie.
has led me here.
Where is Moochie?
She's having a grand old time.
I always loved the Imperial turrets. I always
Yeah.
loved these. They're so cool.
I love the green lasers.
Yeah. And then what's his name? It's not Wolf. What's his name?
Gregor.
Gregor. Yeah, so it was like Delta Squad, right?
Yeah.
Or something. You think are we gonna see Delta Squad?
No.
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 Just Gregor.
Sid is the best villain in the show.
We got Fennec and Cad.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about do you think Cad Bane is gonna help the Bad Batch, or do you think he's gonna work against them?
So this is what me and Kat were talking about. I think Fennec is working with them and Cad is hunting them down, and he comes across Fennec as a result of it. I think Cad is hired by someone else to kill the Bad Batch or something. I don't think he's working with them. That's what I think.
But the reason why I'm hesitant to say that is because in the book of Boba Fett, doesn't he kind of rip Boba for working for the Empire?
Sorry, say that one more time.
In the book of Boba Fett, I believe he takes a shot at Boba Fett for working for the Empire.
This is also post this. That was post
Could Sid
Empire.
have sent him?
I feel like I don't know. Was that dig in Book of Boba Fett? Was it fueled by his own distaste for the Empire, or was he using it to twist the audience he was trying to manipulate?
Oh yeah,
just
probably.
small town citizens who totally would have hated the Empire. I don't know, but you're not wrong. He did say what were his exact words?
That's a good point. Yeah. Could they be? Could they be
Boba
working
Fett is a
together?
cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire. That's right. Cad and Fennec working together?
They're gonna hook up.
I don't know.
Could it? I'm actually trying to think. Now that you made that point, what is happening then with him?
Yeah, what is Cad?
Is he just in the wrong place at the
opinion?
wrong time, looking for someone else, and then he gets tangled up with the Bad Batch, so he's helping with he works with them now, or fuck, I don't know.
I hope he kills Sid.
Oh my god. That would be glorious. Sorry, I can't. Oh goodness. I have to start accepting now that Sed's gonna survive through the season. She just is.
Don't say things. Come on, Kat.
I would
Don't
like
say
to just
things
not
like
see her
that.
and assume she's dead.
Why
I
would
think that's the
would
best
you
option.
why would you manifest that? Let's just.
Because it's 90% what's gonna
No.
happen.
I couldn't do it. I can't do it.
There's no way.
It's
There's no
Rex.
way.
Kill Sid, turn her into a jacket.
Oh my god.
Exactly, Stanley's. Exactly.
Stanley's always knows what to say.
Don't manifest that.
Yeah,
Kat.
it's not manifestation, it's preparation. Mental preparation.
So now that we're
Rex
on
is
Rex,
looking
I don't know if
clean.
Cody's in this. I don't think Cody's in this. But what do you think is going to happen
Really?
with Cody? Do you think?
Oh, he's
Is he in
got to
this
be
trailer?
in the. No, but he's got to be in the show. Oh, is that him?
Oh yeah,
Or
that's
is
what
that-
I meant.
Yeah, that's him, right?
Is it?
Who is that? It's a clone.
That's how they get you. I mean, so obviously the inhibitor chip worked for Cody. So do you think like maybe his like moral compass is going to take over eventually, and the chip's going to wear off, and he's going to be able to like turn to the good side, or what do you think is going to happen there with like the whole rebellion going on, right?
Well,
That's
didn't he
gonna be
already
interesting.
he already deserted, right?
That's right. He's AWOL. He was already having some doubts. Questioning.
But do you think he's going to go as far as like going against the Empire, like, or do you think he's just going to?
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised.
I think he's gonna find Rex.
Yeah, link up with their underground development.
Cody
Squad.
for sure will die, though. He's absolutely gonna die
Really?
because he's not with Rex and Gregor and Wolf in Rebels. He's
Oh,
yeah, and
frick.
remember, something has to happen to where like right now Rex is like, oh, we need to get all these clones together and we need to resist. We need to fight back against the Empire. And then when we see them in Rebels, they're living
Mhm.
on some desert planet on a walker trying to hide from the Empire, and they're basically retired. And Rex is like, I don't want to do any more fighting. And then he's kind of convinced to fight again. So something bad is going to happen.
That's a good point. Shoot.
And then Omega has a new strategy. Can you guess what the new strategy is, Zach?
It appears that her new strategy is flying a ship,
And
killing some Imperials is my
Her haircut.
strategy.
she got a haircut.
Being edgy is my strategy.
Give us a real challenge. Wrecker just loves to jinx himself.
One last fight.
Oh yeah, and then
Was
we see
that?
then we see Exegol.
Oh Jesus!
Wait, what the
Christ, not
frick?
Exegol.
Yeah, so it's all gonna link.
I hate Exegol.
Really?
I do.
Because somehow Palpatine survived, guys. Come on. Get with the program.
But I wouldn't mind if this is at least something else, some other form of
It looks
sequel
exactly like
media,
Exegol.
something
That
on
would be
it, like-
ridiculous if he just kind of builds pyramids all around the world
They
in dark
can't
places.
fix it. It's impossible. It's too broken. I'd rather they didn't even try.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Trying to
I feel like we could have
posthumously,
made
is that the
this
word?
not end to the point to where this is all happening. We could have finished it by then. Before the
Yeah,
whole-
imagine if they didn't have to try to rehabilitate the Rise of Skywalker. They could have done so many other things with the Bad Batch. Like, I don't know, explore more of like the time period of that we're in, like the change between the Republic to the Empire, instead of having to like why are we even seeing this really? Like, what does this have to do? I mean, sure, it could be a part of what I initially wanted, where it was more like the Clone Wars and there were different storylines and characters, but I just don't know why this is the focus in this show.
I don't think it will be. I think it'll be something. I don't think it'll be the focus though. I
Just
think
a
they're
little
gonna try to
Easter
build.
egg.
They obviously have to link it, but like I don't think this is gonna be the focus of the entire show. I think it's gonna be much bigger. I think there's
Palpatine
gonna be a lot
survived.
of different things going on.
Palpatine survived in Legends, yeah, and I hated it in Legends too. So it does not matter if it's Legends to me. I don't think he should have come back. He should have stayed dead for sure.
Was there a new Clone Legion shown in the trailer? Purple markings on one of them.
If so,
don't
I was
think
not
so.
paying too much
Yeah.
attention.
I think they phased out the colors on clone. They phased out the clones and
Yeah,
colors.
they're more generic and general now. And then we got our girl, which is supposedly taking place 2 years or 3 years before Dark Disciple. What's going on with that?
I don't know. This is really this is so confusing to me.
That's what I heard. I heard it's taking place beforehand, but then there's no one giving
What does that
concrete
have to
answers
do
when
with
they're being
Bad
interviewed.
Yeah,
they bring up Dark Disciple, right? They're like, oh yeah, we were so excited to bring her back, and it was inspired by Dark Disciple, and then they don't specify like, oh, Dark Disciple's still a thing. We just are taking this beforehand. They made it the way they're being interviewed. It makes it sound like they're just completely taking it out of canon and replacing this with that. But then again, there's all these other people who worked on the show on Twitter and everything saying, oh no, it takes place 2 years beforehand. So I don't know what's actually happening.
Are they talking about this particular scene with Ventress? That's the only thing I can think of, is that for some reason this takes place, this particular, whether it's an episode or a scene with Ventress, takes place pre-Dark Disciple, which I have no idea why. This feels so random. When I saw this, I was like, what the actual hell? Because I mean, kudos to them for completely surprising me, but I don't really understand where she's going to fit into this story, even if it's a flashback or a...
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. It could be a flashback, but I mean, after all the news, she's going to have it sounds like she's going to have a pretty big part in this show. And I'm curious if it's going to tie into what's his name? How do I always forget his name? The Jedi.
Quinlan Voss.
Quinlan Voss. Whether it's going to tie into him, and we're going to see Quinlan Voss in this show, and it's going to be all dramatic at the end. I really don't know. So I mean, I guess with that precedence, it is interesting to say the least. Because we don't actually know what's happening or not, but it's also worrisome because there's so many different things happening all at once that I hope that they can all tie together and make some sense of it. Because it seems like they just keep showing all these cool things with massive stories, but can they cap it all up? And what is it, 16 episodes, 17, 18? I don't remember how many.
16, I think.
And half of those will be filler, probably.
No.
Yes.
Have some faith.
It's the Bad Batch, Cat. What are you?
The last season.
We're gonna get 7 episodes that slap.
It's not
we're gonna
manifestation. It's preparation.
Oh, dang it!
She got you there.
The very
Kat.
thing I swore to destroy. Yeah, when it comes to Ventress, my biggest concern is what's her relevancy to this story? I've never watched Bad Batch and felt like this show is missing something, or I'm not invested in any of these current characters. I want a cameo. Granted, yes, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because there I was all leading into the Bad Batch thinking we're going to eventually see Vader. A hypocrite. Thanks for pointing it out.
You're a hypocrite living in San Francisco.
Hang loose.
Peace and love, bro.
I never felt
really.
This void. I never felt a void in the show. It's missing more Clone Wars characters. I never felt. I can't.
I'm just thinking about peace and love, bro. And then she pulls out a gun and just shoots.
It's a hypocrite. Oh, I love it. I'm so sorry, Kat. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
You shouldn't have said something so funny, Kat.
I'm feeding into our merch ideas by the moment. It's okay. No, but it's similar. I feel similarly with this as I did with Sabine being force sensitive. It's wasn't necessary for my enjoyment necessarily. Not that I'm opposed, but I'm a little bit here with the Ventress. All right, prove to me that this wasn't just some fan servicey thing, because of all characters, I just don't. I'm having trouble linking what she would have to do with the story here. That's my struggle. I'm not opposed. I'm not entirely opposed, but if it clicks in a way that's like, oh my gosh, it makes sense, and it's like, oh my gosh, a larger story, and doesn't seemingly retcon the already established novel, then
Or just make it really confusing. Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Somehow Asajj Ventress returned.
I know it. This actually ends up taking place after that, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, that book happened. What are we gonna say to the public?
No.
We'll just confuse them. We'll just confuse them." That's obviously this isn't taking
They're
place in the
different
same
shots.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a misdirect, which is something that Star Wars trailers do.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I just genuinely have no idea how they're gonna tie Ventress into this organically.
oh, is this what you're talking about? Special markings? I think is that just
That looks like it looks blue, maybe.
looks purple to me, but it might be my monitor. This looks red here. So like, are these defected clones that they come across and they think that they're fighting the Empire here, but it's the Bad Batch, and they're like, "Yo, what up?" They're like, "For
It's
sure."
the same lighting, yeah.
That's probably what happens here. And then this is like the start of the rebellion or something.
Yeah, and then so Ventress is deflecting blue blaster bolts, so that would insinuate it is clones that are firing on her, not the Imperials, right? Because
Yeah.
they're not shooting blue anymore.
Unless it is a flashback.
It's gotta be, but whose flashback would it be?
Right.
Quinlan?
But he's not in the show. Like, what does it have to do? Unless they're just outsmarting us. Like, the writers obviously know something we don't. They've hashed this out. So, like, I'm hoping that we're all like pleasantly surprised and it's a big aha moment.
They're also saying nothing on their press tours. I've been watching their videos. They're saying literally nothing. And the questions are so dumb. They're like asking them if they're excited about the show. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, we're really excited." And I was like, "Okay, well, that didn't say anything." That's basically like everyone who's interviewed them. Those are the basic questions. Or they're like, "How did it make you feel to see to write Tech out of the show?" And then they just say, "Oh yeah, he's a very strong character." And
Which one?
No, which one? But yeah, so like we're not getting any info on the back end. Again, I don't want any info, but it would be interesting for them to clear up some things that are confusing the fans, right? So we're not sitting here like worried about the show being like confusing or contrived or like, you know, it's just because that's just what we've come to expect. Sid's flashback. Oh god. They could have made her kill her instead of Dooku and Ventress. And a yellow lightsaber somewhere in between Clone Wars Season 6 and Dark Disciple.
I don't know. Like they just straight up come out and say that they're not retconning Dark Disciple?
They didn't use those words.
They said they're yeah, it's all up in the air. They're saying it takes place
language.
Yeah, like we appreciate Dark Disciple is basically what they were saying. And then I was like, okay, well, that doesn't mean anything.
I think they alluded to like we are respecting the source material. This will not interfere with that. I think is kind of the language that they.
In other words, Dark Disciple isn't canon. You can read that on your own time. Fuck you.
This is the quote. "We love her so much. More than that, it's not just up to me and Jen. When we realized we could use Asajj Ventress and bring her into the storyline, we were so excited. We did a lot of research. We went back to the unaired arc in the Clone Wars that inspired the novel Dark Disciple, and there were designs created, story reels created. That's where her character came from, and her lightsaber, her blade, and the whole thing. So we wanted to honor that as we brought Asajj into this storyline. And we were so excited. Nika Futterman, incredible. Even her performance is based on where we were going to be at the end of the Clone Wars, a little bit different than the early days of the Clone Wars. And to that, the events of Dark Disciple are true. We are aligning right with them. You might not get every answer in the Bad Batch for how that comes about, but just rest assured you probably will at some point." That is very confusing, that last part.
It might not make sense now, but if you really think hard enough, it might make sense later.
Don't worry about it, basically.
Don't worry about it. Stop thinking, you morons. You're not supposed to think.
Classic.
Just consume. Just be a mindless consumer.
Yes, Daddy Disney.
Yeah.
Yes, Daddy.
We've been lied to before. Remember Mando season 3?
What were the lies?
I don't remember Mando season 3 that much. Try not
I
to.
remember the monster when he just kind of fell deep underwater, and we saw what's it called?
Mythosaur.
Mythosaur. Yeah.
It's been so long since Mando. We're like, what happened?
It really has been.
I thought
that just shows how forgettable these shows are, though, and that's not
I could
good.
have sworn Lizzo was in that season or something.
Might have been
I had a bad dream that Lizzo was in that, guys.
And
man.
Jack Black.
Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
Can you imagine Jack Black and Lizzo are in Star Wars? Like, God, that would suck. cut to the scene.
Is it that we're
Oh,
forgetting
no.
everything, or there's just so much that's connecting now that we have to remember?
Or it's just forgettable stuff. It's just not interesting enough to remember.
That was a very sad sound you just made.
I don't think it's forgettable. Even though I also forgot what the mythosaur was called.
Cat's forgetting everything while simultaneously saying, "I don't remember anything," and it's very forgettable. But it's not forgettable. They all worked very hard on the show, and they all did a very great job.
And for that,
I don't remember anything.
And for that, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
The story made no sense. I actually didn't like watching it. I fell asleep. But
it was complete garbage. 9 out of 10. God, we're just
on the
roasting
cat
cats
scale.
tonight. I feel so bad.
It's true though. Listen, I
goes-
realized my come to Jesus moment when I realized I might need to reassess my critical thinking when it comes to film, the literal media, the industry that I aspire to hopefully work in one day. My come to Jesus moment was when you said, Zach, that Aragon was the worst movie you've ever seen. And I was like, frick, I like that movie.
You tear down your Aragon poster.
After we finish posting the Last Airbender, we're gonna do an Aragon rewatch, Zach. If you want, join us.
Haven't you not seen it though, Alex?
No, I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't seen it in a long
decades.
time.
It's
yeah.
been
I saw it in
years.
the theaters, and then I saw it randomly on like FX like 10 years ago. So
is it even watchable? Is it?
No,
where
it is barely watchable, Cat. It's so bad.
It's gonna be amazing.
What's streaming service? It's on Disney Plus. Fitting.
Is it really?
It is.
Oh my god.
We
We might be
have
the
no
only
choice.
3 people who've ever watched it on Disney Plus.
I've never seen it advertised on like the homepage once.
There's a reason
like,
for
ever.
that.
I didn't even know it was on Disney Plus.
Well, anyway, that's what I realized.
Why did they want it?
I needed to change. Was it originally a Disney film?
Was it?
I wasn't paying attention to these things in 2000.
Was
It's 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. What is wrong with my critical
That's
thinking?
almost Madame.
So there's nothing wrong with your critical thinking, Cat. You just got to think of it like, so imagine if you get hired, right? Imagine if you're in the industry and you're going over a script and you're working with your director and you say nothing about the character and it's one of the worst movies of all time. And because you said nothing, now your career and your acting ability is questioned because you didn't stand up and say, hey, look, this isn't very good. I'm sorry. Or I wish we did it this way or whatever, right? There's respectful ways to give criticism, right? It's not always like, this is a fucking piece of hot garbage. You know, you can be respectful. And I know that's what you would want to do, but just straight up saying it's a 9, 9.2, 9.3,
It's all right.
maybe like 9.6 or okay, 8.9. Sorry, 8.9. That's more fair.
Jesus Christ. I didn't know Rachel Weisz was Saphira's voice. I didn't know that.
Wait, what?
Oh, really?
Yeah, she voices the dragon. And then
I don't even remember the dragon speaking. Oh, frick.
Yeah, that they can speak telepathically.
Oh, that's right.
Kat, I thought you really liked this movie. How do you not
I was about to say, here I am
Kat doesn't remember.
looking back fondly on this.
She's getting it confused with Game of Thrones or something.
This was Game of Thrones.
It's like, wait, this isn't
6-year-old.
This isn't Aragon season 7.
Where's
like,
Jon Snow?
You're like Game of Thrones isn't Aragon. You're like, oh.
Goodness. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm curious to
Kanan
see
in the first episode of the Bad Batch.
I remember they had the actual voice actor from Rebels doing a little boy voice, and it did not work very well.
Oh,
Freddie?
yes. Freddie.
Yeah, he's like, Master.
Yeah, that took me out.
Isn't that
a
what they
lot.
did? Isn't that literally what they did?
They did, yeah. They're like,
Yes.
Freddie,
Yeah, yeah.
Freddie, do a prepubescent voice.
After that, I guess he was done with Star Wars. I don't know.
Yeah, he really flamed Star Wars.
He did?
I'm pretty sure he was like, it's just for like he basically trivialized it, I think, and then insulted the fans.
Oh, what's new?
Yeah, we're used to getting dunked on.
Doesn't even hurt anymore. It's kind of just like,
No.
yeah, you're not wrong. Don't blame you.
All right. Anything else? Well, I am actually excited to see more of Tantus because I feel like we just kind of got like a brief kind of outline or like brief intro to it, and now we're probably going to see all the dark, despicable things they do in
Are we?
Wayland.
I believe we're gonna see what's his face again. I don't think he said. I know we talked about this, Alex. We debated with the chat as well whether oh my god, I said his name earlier and I still already forgot what the frick is his name.
Tick.
Oh my god, my brain.
Aragon.
What the heck? Rampart, sweet Jesus. I feel like we're gonna see something messed up with him in prison. I've felt it since they framed him and arrested
Ooh.
him.
That's
But
right.
I could be wrong because everyone in the chat at the time was like, "Nah, he dead."
Well,
So
Kat, everybody, once upon a time, everyone in the chat said I was an idiot for thinking that that one character was Omega's older clone.
We got to refine that stream.
I was so vindicated. Oh my god, you have no idea.
I don't even know which stream that was.
I don't
Was
think you were
it-
there. You might not have even been there.
It's probably was that when we were doing our watch parties at like 11 p.m. at night before the episodes
Yes.
would come out?
Yes.
So it was probably the one right before the final episode of last season.
Yeah, speaking of watch parties, do you guys want to do the hour before and then just leave, or like we did last time? Like we do just the pre-watch and we talk about it a bit more, and then we go off on our merry ways and watch it, and then chat about it next week or something.
Oh, is that what we
What are you guys
did
thinking?
last season?
Yeah.
Didn't we used to like Kat would pretty much always leave, but didn't you and I
would.
watch it and then we'd reconvene at the end?
Oh, is that what we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Was that 2 years ago?
Sometimes.
How long was that? How long ago?
We
was
used to
that
text
bad?
each other and be like, "Do we want to go back on? Yay or nay?" Depending on the episode.
It was a
Is this the
filler.
Yeah. Are they racing again, or do we see Sid? Or
Oh, that was the
are we
worst.
good?
I think that might have been my least favorite Bad Batch episode ever.
Yeah.
Really?
It was so bad.
That was
That's the
before I
one
was on
remember
Twitter.
most.
That was before I was on Twitter, but I guess a lot of people liked that episode, and there was a whole debate about how it's not filler and everything. And I'm just like, oh god.
People
Now I know
was
why I'm not on
filler.
Twitter.
People fight to the death about Bad Batch on Twitter. It definitely has very polarizing camps.
Especially when people like Kat have a parental advisory over there.
What can I
All right,
say?
Kat, you
Profile.
promised us you would cuss.
All right.
Shit.
I
That's where
have to talk about
that's where you're
that
like,
was gonna be
shit.
that was my word of choice. That was gonna be my word of choice. If Sid survives this season, I'll be pissed as shit.
I forgot about that. Why did you remind me, Tom? Why did you remind me? That was a thing. They were in Vespas.
Can you
They
even
were
call
in-
that a race though?
They were in colorful Vespas.
I'm pretty sure I could walk faster than those Vespas were going.
And like the spin moves. Oh god, that's such a
I'm
memorable
convinced
show.
they had no
Oh my
idea
God.
what they were doing when they made that show. Like no
Oh.
idea.
You know what we could do? So we could go live, and then after we could record here, not live, and then we could do edited segments of our reaction through the episode together.
Ooh.
Kind of like what me and Kat did with
Yeah.
Atla, and then we can have
Juicy
content for it. If you
I'm not
wanna do
opposed to that, especially since it's not like we're going to be up till 2 a.m. You know, back.
I
in
can
the
edit
day.
it like super quick too, so I can just do it after we watch it.
And then we can do the dumb like reactor faces for the thumbnail. Where we're just like,
Yeah, Kat. I was gonna say we need. I was gonna grab a bunch of just PNGs of your face throughout the whole process of our filming of Atla, and just like have like a like 10 or 20 to choose from to
Oh.
pick for
Just
all
use the
the
one where
thumbnails.
she puts the gun in her mouth.
There's definitely a lot where I don't even. I
She's just
hide
holding
my
like a double
face.
barrel shotgun. Like just like so visceral and graphic. Oh god.
Oh,
Hold on. While we were saying that, okay, parental advisory.
We're
There
good.
we
We're
go.
good. We're good. Don't demonetize
Okay.
us.
it's all right. It's past the first 30 seconds.
What time are they releasing at? I actually don't know. Is it gonna be midnight
6?
again?
Is it still 6? No, that better freaking not be. That's why I'm saying we might
Yeah,
be
I
able to get
haven't stayed up.
away.
I haven't stayed up past 9 o'clock in so long, or past 10 o'clock in so long. I'm like old now, so there's no way I can do it.
The problem is I am a night owl. I naturally
I'm terminally
stay up that late,
like,
but
that's like I'm terminally online.
every time that it would be freaking Tuesday at 11 o'clock at night and we would just be going live, I'd be like, I want to go to sleep. Every other night of the week, I'm a night owl. Oh, what's up? My mom finally caught an evil
Barbara.
EWOK podcast.
What up? Everyone's like, hi, Barb. She's a regular. Oh. So, okay, if it's 6, that's perfect then, because then I don't have to stay up till 2, right?
Yes.
If it's midnight, that's going to suck.
If
but-
it's 6, I'm not even going to be able to make the streams.
Oh, shoot. That's
Oh,
right.
that's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
Can we look this up? Do you know for sure?
If it's 6, I guess we could just do a post one.
We can rally afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because
What
it's not
time-
going to be
what-
late.
What time do you think you would be available?
Oh, like 6:37.
So we can just
That's
film
fine.
then. We can wait like half an hour and just film. Like me and Kat can do the stream, and then us 3 can film the episode together. And then I can edit that down afterwards. It's not like 30 minutes is gonna make a difference.
It could
you
be
want.
all the difference.
And again, you could let us know like if you had a long day, right? Or you're like, fuck, I can't do this shit right now. Just let us know. We can do it. It's all good. Or we can just have Kat do it solo, and she can do all the work all by herself.
I would be out here rating every episode 10 out of 10. Loved it.
Like,
Zach
damn
and
it,
Alex,
Kat, you can't
sorry.
keep doing this.
Zach and Alex aren't here to rain on my parade. I can speak freely.
Go on, speak freely.
No, I have high expectations for this season. Especially since upper half of season
It's
2.
the last season.
Yeah, latter half though of season 2. I do feel like we looked at pretty fondly. So if it is able to keep that trajectory, and as long as they get rid of effing Sid, I'll be happy.
Effing Sid, hell yeah. I think that in the long storied run of the Bad Batch, there have been moments where I'm like, this show is hype and this is what I wanted. But then every time without fail,
That gives it a 9 out of 10. And we're
they'll
just like,
have
wow.
no, well, that too, but they'll have episodes where it's like, oh, we need to go fetch this one random thing from this one random place, and oh, there's this one random creature that's in our way, and you could probably mark off like 7 Bad Batch episodes that have that loose plot structure, and it's just like, I don't care, like I don't want this.
Sometimes it's even worse than that, because
it
it's
is
like they're
sometimes even
doing
worse
things
than
that are against what they should be doing, or what they would normally be doing in respect to their characters. It just feels random or forced, just because they need to do something or something. It doesn't match what's going on. So it's not only is it a side quest, right, or not only is it a filler episode, but they're doing things for someone that they shouldn't be doing things for, and they have like this soft spot when they're like this elite squad and they're trying to survive. It's just so it's so strange, right?
The
There's a
fact
lot
that
of
they were
weird,
so shackled by Sid was always something that I just couldn't fathom. Like any single one of their, like, yes, there's a threat that she could rat them out and whatnot, and that she has the dirt on them and the blackmail capability, but I was always just like,
why are they so
why are they so tethered to having to honor her? They could at any moment on any one of these missions, the dirty work that they're doing for her, just leave. Just bail and never report back.
The Sid thing might have worked if Sid was not a complete piece of shit to them. Like she has been awful the entire time. She has not been nice to them. she has not been particularly helpful either. Like, she basically just keeps them in indentured servitude, and they, for some reason, are just like, yeah, we're just going to keep doing these jobs, even though she keeps moving the goalposts on our debt. And it's just waste. I feel like it's just wasted so much of our time watching these stupid little fetch quests that Sid sends them on. I mean, do you know how much strength it took for me to watch the entire episode when in the first 5 minutes Sid's like, okay, you're gonna go to this planet and fetch this doodad, and it's like, okay, what's gonna be one of those episodes? And
especially when it's in an era of so much going on, which is why I'm
yes,
excited about this season, right? Because they're showing so many different things like happening all at the same time, which is kind of what is exciting about Star Wars, because they're able to show simultaneous things happening all around, not just like closing in on one storyline of a fetch quest, right? And I hope that they don't waste any episodes here. That this is just getting down to the
There's no
meat
more
of
room. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, again, you can't assume anything, so we'll see.
yeah,
Mm.
we can only hope that they finally just because they would have like super interesting things happen, like the whole Palpatine episodes from season 2, anything with Crosshair, really, the Commander Cody episode. They'll prove to us that they can do it. They can tell stories that belong alongside the Clone Wars, but then they just, I don't know, they just like completely walk it back, like, and then they give us these crappy episodes that are meaningless and have no meaning. There's no character development. There's no overarching story being driven forward. It's just so frustrating. Like, that's basically my summation of the Bad Batch. It's like, it's good at times, but it's so damn frustrating at other times. It's just not the show I wanted.
Yeah, no, I that's valid because I feel the same way. As much as I'll still praise the show, it's not what I thought it was going to be when we went into it. In terms of just all of the darkness of this era and the fact that Clone Wars finale ended on such a dark note, and this was announced right on the tails of that kind of finishing up, I was like, we're getting into it. And it's had a much bigger spectrum of lightheartedness, non-consequential, fun missions paired with some of the deepest, darkest shiz in all of the animated Star Wars, even just all of Star Wars. Crosshair specifically is such has really been the vessel for some of just the best material in this show and the best just trauma and character development for this
His character is the
time
most
period.
interesting,
Yeah.
right? His character isn't a cliche. It's like a character that you can actually understand and identify with in terms of just the human struggle, right? And understanding who you are, and finding your place in the world, and everyone else just kind of randomly doing whatever the plot needs them to do in a lot of ways, right? And the thing about, like, Clone Wars might have a ton of filler, but you got 7 seasons of it, and there was like 30 episodes.
You're right. There were
a
like
season.
25.
So like
And
they had a lot to just do.
And they had arcs. They honestly,
Yes.
like, after season like 3 or so, maybe 2, they leaned into the arcs, and they just had like so it never really felt like filler, even if the particular arc wasn't like the droid arc where they're on that. Like, that's one of the worst arcs, but it's still a story. It's not just
Right.
like a one-off episode where nothing happens and
It was productive in some way.
yes, like those characters in that arc are they develop along the way. So at least there's that. Like, at least you have that. The Bad Batch, it's like, oh, we're gonna go to the races and Tech is gonna solve the problem because he's good at techie stuff. And it's like, okay, where's the development there? Like, how is his character being challenged? He's not, because he's just doing what he's good at. If it were like, oh, Tech can't race, Wrecker, you've got to race, or something like that, and then Wrecker has to reach into his cranium and pull out something that he didn't know that he had, and like that challenges, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like a good example of that is when Tech had to like show compassion and be like
yes,
a figure for Omega, right?
yes,
That was like
exactly.
a really good
That was
example
good.
of that. Yeah.
Yes.
And they need to do more of that. And I really do. I strongly feel like that's where the show is going. But like I said, it really detracts from the overall show when there's episodes like what you just described here, because it's like you don't see Game of Thrones just showing some random peasants like doing random things because that doesn't tie into any overarching story or any major plot line, right? Every episode, every minute is important in some way or another, whether you agree or not. It is, right? And here you could argue you could take out almost half the season and still get the same gist and still understand most of what's going on.
Right. And I think going back to the Clone Wars argument, the Clone Wars, it had filler at times, sure. But the Clone Wars had such incredible highs, like legendary highs, that I can forgive it. Whereas the Bad Batch, it has had some highs, but I would say like the best episode ever of the Bad Batch is still not. I would not even put it in like the top 15 episodes of the Clone Wars, for example. It's definitely like not on that level.
What would you pick as the best? What is the best episode to you?
God, that's a good question. I'd have to let me here talk about something else. I'm gonna look at all the episodes, and
I think for me the introductory, that hour-long premiere episode was still so good. That was a great start to the show, but I think last season really kicked things. I think the snow episode. I know that's not what it's called. The snow one with Crosshair when he gets sent off to
that might be my favorite episode
planet
too.
And has to go, and all the other clones that he's there to help die along the way. It was
and he brings that clone all the way back just for him to die.
Yep.
And then that's when he's like, dude, what the fuck am I getting myself into? Right?
Yeah,
they were right.
I think I would agree. I think it's either that one or it's the first one.
Yeah, that first one is it's so good.
which is part of the problem, because you started off like that and we had these expectations like, okay, so this is the kind of show that it's going to be. And then very quickly they showed us that no, it is not going to be like that. It's going to not occasionally, it's going to often turn into like a Saturday morning cartoon, like, oh, this is the monster of the week, or this is the mission of the week. And I get it. It's a kid's show at the end of the day. It is for children, but I don't know. Like, it's just tough because it's so easy to envision a show.
Kids like to think too, though.
No, they do.
I always liked story, right?
As a kid, I always preferred meaningful, like arcs or episodes, as opposed to like, oh, this average, like, oh, we're going on a mission to fetch this thing. But what was I gonna say? I don't remember. I don't remember.
The Cody episode of the Palpatine Senate speech.
That was a good one.
Senate speech was great. The Cody episode was cool just for being cool, right? Like that was an episode that I think is like, it stands on its own. It was like a really cool thing to see in the animation and to see tactics implied and show how cool they are and their prowess and their sleight of hand. Like that was all super cool, right? But in terms of just like deep character development and story, even though there was great development there, and that was kind of the first moment of all of them questioning whether or not they should follow orders, just that ending scene of that asshole officer who just made Crosshair question everything was just so impactful to me, and I'll always remember that.
Yeah,
I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that it's so easy to envision a better show. Like I think they should have made it very similar in structure to the Clone Wars. I think they should have called it the Dark Times, and then really just shown all facets of the transition from Empire to the Republic, or from the Republic to the Empire. I think that would have been so interesting. Like, here's an episode about Darth Vader, or like an arc about Darth Vader. Here's an episode about the Inquisitors.
We talked about this.
Yeah, like here's an episode about the Bad Batch. Here's an episode about Tarkin. Here's an episode about Rex. Here's an episode about what Ahsoka's doing. Like, here's an episode about completely new characters. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
kind of like what they did in Last Airbender with like Momo's Tales or
Appa's Lost Days.
Appa's Lost Days, or you know, like those episodes.
Yeah, but I mean, just focused. Like literally just follow the same path of the Clone Wars. Like, it was brilliant. Like, you were able to really flesh out that time period so well on so many different fronts. Like what they did for the clones, all different kinds of clones in the Clone Wars, is incredible. Like, you developed Rex, Cody, Fives, you know, all these great characters. Ahsoka, like there's so many different characters that they invented or took from the prequels and then actually developed them into characters, like Maul. That I think they should have just continued with that formula with a new show instead of locking themselves into having to follow around the Bad Batch. And you can tell that they don't always want to do that, because sometimes they're like, oh, well, let's have Hera be the protagonist of a few episodes. And it's kind of weird because it feels random and out of the blue, but it's like they can't help themselves. And they should have just done that in the first place, not tethered themselves to one specific group of characters.
Having dual like plot lines following, because even just all the still existing clones and characters that they do still have in this time period, but even as you said, new ones. I think a new interesting theme that they tapped into last season. I need to refresh myself. I've got T-7 days to rewatch it all because I forget most of it, but they had the clones who were going out and assassinating the other rogue clones, or what was retired clones. They were some of the
Decommissioned something.
yes, they had like brainwashed clones who were going out killing like their brothers. I completely forget. Maybe that was like the Senator Chuchi episode leading up to when Palpatine revealed himself, but just they do have interesting, especially amongst the clones who are still in it, who are maybe clones like Cody planning to go AWOL. Like they're maybe there will be some more focus on that in this season, but that's definitely been some of the highlight themes of this show in the time period. And even the Palpatine scene is so strong because it showed everyone in that room, everybody in the Senate room shat their pants. They made it evident that every single person in there probably hadn't seen the dude in forever, and it struck fear of God in them. Which like was without words. They didn't even need to use words. It was like a show don't tell situation of that's the energy, that's the tension, the eggshells, the fear in this era when it comes to the leadership in the empire, even amongst the people in power, the senators. So like that's why I don't know, just I think I have hopes that they'll tap hopefully back into some of that. I'm just curious if this is going to end. What do you guys think? This is going to end resolved or open ended? Because I know a big thing going into the series was we're going to see the clone full-fledged rebellion, and we're going to see like the end of the total demolition of the clones. Like, do you think we're going to get that at this rate? Like,
I don't know. This is the last season. They still haven't really. I still feel like they have a ways to go in terms of a rebellion. What do you think they're gonna do next, like after this show? They're not doing another animated show?
The Batter
we have
Batch.
Tales of the Jedi. We do have more Tales of the Jedi.
Oh,
But
that's right.
That's like that's different though.
Yeah. I think
I
this
forgot about that,
is
though.
like the end of, other than Tales of the Jedi, I don't think we're getting anything else like this Clone Wars era style animation, which like makes me sad because the Star Wars animation is some of the best content
It's
sometimes.
incredible.
So
It's Acolyte and Tales. Is that it for this year?
Isn't it
Skeleton Crew.
Oh, I always forget about that.
Maybe I still don't think this show exists, but allegedly. And is there going to be Visions season 3? Even though I'm out here and I still haven't even watched Visions season 2, but like, is that gonna continue?
I really liked Vision season 2. You guys really do need to watch it. There's a couple episodes in there that are so good, and I wish they would like they would translate it to an actual story in Star Wars. A lot of them, I really like.
Visions is so strong with the content. I'm like, I would watch an entire freaking show of this. I mean,
it's like fan films, like people making fan films, right? And passion comes through and it shows. And it's like, why don't they just hire probably the best episode that the fans like and create something out of it? I think that would be so cool. I'd love that.
Zach's silent. He's like, yep.
Yes, I agree.
I can't judge you too hard because I'm so behind on season 2. It's only because I'm.
Please watch it.
I think I have to. I was gonna film reactions, which is always what slows me down, but I think I might just say screw it and just watch it so that I can finally just get it out of my system.
Yeah, I mean, it won't take too long. They're pretty short.
Right. They were like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Oh, which one was that? Was it is that sorry, Charlie, which was that the not the ballet one, but the one with like the son who was an officer. Charlie, which one was that? Just elaborate. Can't remember. They could do a New Republic show set after Return of the Jedi.
I'd watch it. I mean, I'd
The
rather
New
they
Republic is like
didn't.
annoying me at this point. Like,
Yeah, I know.
I like don't care.
I don't
They're
care.
dumb for the sake of being dumb because they have to be because of what happened, right? Because of the First Order, they have to make them.
They're locked
seem-
into a path. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to just see them being dumb and letting things happen because that's just annoying. It's so annoying.
Right. I couldn't watch a whole show of like the incompetence that, you know.
Yeah, like how is it that Hera and the Ghost Crew are like the only competent people in the entire the entire New Republic? Everyone else is like, you're just a stupid general. You don't know.
I mean,
anything.
I think what show
It's
was
like,
it? I think. No, never mind. I'm thinking of something completely unrelated. Yeah, no, it's definitely I don't mind it for the few episodes where they've been planting seeds in Mando and Ahsoka now, but I would not want to watch a whole series of the New Republic just losing its grasp.
They're
It's like
so
we kind of know what happened.
dumb. Because at least the Republic, when that crumbled, it was because like they effectively showed the corruption, and B, it's because Palpatine was a freaking genius, and he played it perfectly, and that was never an issue with Revenge of the Sith or the prequels. Like that was always good. That was one of the good parts about it. And then the Clone Wars, for example, just capitalized on that. Whereas I don't think you can do that with the New Republic because it is, like Alex said, just blatant stupidity of them being like lazy and not wanting to fight anymore. And that's the only reason you get the First Order is because the New Republic is so complacent. It's so goddamn annoying.
Yeah.
It's like when you as a viewer know everything that should be happening, but it's not happening. It's annoying. When you as a viewer don't know what's happening and you're blindsided, or you're like, oh wow, that was really smart. That's when it's actually fun to watch. When you already know everything that's going to happen, and you already, with some exceptions, like with the prequels, obviously, and seeing how it unfolds, it's like the way Disney's been handling it to go from point A to point C. B is just like so. You can't, it's just unwatchable because they're like, how do we speed this up? How do we speed up the incompetence? And they're just like, okay, let's just make everyone who rules the Republic, aside from Mon Mothma, just dumb and dense. And that's just, it's like, how is that even possible? I mean, I understand politicians are dumb, but they're not this dumb.
No, that's an interesting point too. It's like literally every protagonist or like good character is not dumb, and they see what's wrong with the New Republic, and it's kind of frustrating because it's like, oh, if you like all the good characters, they get it, so why doesn't anybody else? Whereas with the Clone Wars, there were characters that were good who got swept up in the whole deception, like Anakin, for example. Like he was totally on board with what Palpatine was doing, and he's like the protagonist or whatever, and the clones like truly believed in their cause and like what they were doing, and they were just ultimately the biggest tools that Palpatine
There's just
had.
very human reasons for why he wanted to do what he did, and these are just like written because they have to be that way, and it's just really dumb because it doesn't make any sense. It's like no one would actually act like this. I feel like most of the time you can have people who are dumb like this, but not the entire New Republic. It just doesn't make any sense. It's really dumb. It's really cheap, and I feel like they are simply robbing the fans of a potentially interesting era.
So
Nick.
now that we know where y'all stand on that, what would you want to see as
Okay, Disney shill.
If you could no, I agree.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
I agree entirely. And
We've been really hard on Cat today. I'm sorry.
If I can contribute anything to that, it's that it's still very believable that all of these smart characters, people like Bail, Padme, everybody that they've hyped up and is still a strong, competent, smart character who has strong beliefs and passions, would get blindsided by this. It's still believable because the tension and the stakes during that time period, everything was about the war and sides and the stakes and just the fate and construct of the galaxy as a whole, and democracy and politics being on the line, like freedom, free will, versus allegedly Thrawn's return is like the worst thing that possible in the galaxy. And granted, we're gonna, I'm sure, dive more into the repercussions of that in season 2, but nobody seems to there's no fear, there's no tension, there's no stakes.
And how the hell is so Thrawn's back? How the hell is he gonna come back? I'm assuming fight the New Republic, and then lose. And then how the hell is the New Republic still gonna be like, oh yeah, we're good here? Like, not
that was the only one we were actually worried about.
Yeah,
stragglers.
But
and it's like I think I wanted to ask you guys this. I'm sorry, Zach. I wanted to ask you guys this. Do you think, like, I can understand how, like, politicians and bringing the real world into it could show how they are dumb, and they really are acting in their own best interest, and they don't actually care about the people, etc. Right? But do you think that the plot lines and the character development around the people in the New Republic just lack, like, complexity? I think really it's just like you can have incompetent characters, but I feel like there's just like a lack of, like, complexity in the writing, or lack of complexity in, like, the dynamics of the characters to actually make it interesting. Maybe, like, I'm thinking, like, because there are very common tropes where you have like the Imperials or whatever acting in their own best interest, and they don't actually care about the troops or whatever, right? And they don't actually care about what's happening. And they're just thinking, how are they going to line their own pockets, which is, like, a fair thing. But they don't really show any of the, like, sensory details behind the scenes of any of that. They just kind of blatantly stamp on I'm not going to listen to anything that any of the main characters say because I'm smart and they're dumb, but it's going to lead somewhere because the viewer knows exactly where we're going. And I feel like it's just very simple. It's not complex enough of a story to be interesting. Maybe I'm just, like, thinking out loud.
Yeah, they haven't really given us a very compelling reason for why we as an audience could feasibly understand not taking action against the Imperials, because it's like, they've literally, what do you have to lose? Like, it doesn't, that never made any sense to me in Ahsoka. They're like, no, we don't want to go, like, we don't want to waste our time. It's like, why not make sure? Like General O'Hara isn't going to be making shit up, like, obviously, like, she's a war hero. Like, you think she's really just,
like, where's the prestige? Like, why
Yeah,
does no one respect prestige ever?
What is the reason? Like, what's the actual reason? If it feels like if this were a cover, like, if they were just using this as, like, oh, what's the point, as, like, a cover, and there's actually, like, a nefarious reason, or like a selfish reason that they don't want to do it, then that's one thing. But we haven't been given that. It's straight up them just being like, we don't want it. We don't feel like it.
If the senators are corrupt and
Exactly.
also part of the inside job, because that
like,
has
Andor did a
been-
good job showing, like, that side, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like they just don't do that in anything else that they make. They don't show the complexity behind decision making or why they feel the way they do. It's just like, oh, they feel that way because they do, right? And it's not good. It's not like Zach said, it's not compelling, and it's not, and it just doesn't feel, I feel like it lacks complexity.
Yeah. The most compelling
for us to
thing
be
with
interested.
my favorite New Republic content we've gotten was the Coruscant arc in Mando season 3, with Elia Kane and all of that. That for me felt like the biggest explanation as to how this could crumble, why it's so in shambles, because half the people
Someone from the inside
enlisted to work for the New Republic are just ex-Empire who don't even necessarily want to be there, and if anything are trying to scramble
to
back
rise up against.
So that, like, if that, you make a good point, Zach, if they allude to that with some of, like, the senators who are putting up a fight with Hera, like, that could, I wouldn't be opposed to that, to show that it's really especially believable now that they've painted the New Republic to be very incompetent, very fragile, but then that's really like, okay, they don't stand a chance. Of course the First Order is gonna take over eventually at this rate.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it's even worse because if Thrawn loses to this New Republic, it's just a joke. It's like, how can Thrawn lose to these guys, right? People who don't think there's ever threats, and they just hire the people who tried to kill him over and over again. And it is like it would just cheapen his character even more too. It wouldn't feel like Thrawn anymore.
They're going to tank Thrawn. I'm positive.
What?
I mean, look at the way he was handled already in Ahsoka. Like, they didn't show him making any tactically brilliant decisions. He was basically like, yeah, I mean, we'll just stall and then leave.
So, like, I need you to die for me so I can leave. Thank you.
Like, I think that first impressions are everything, and the first impression I got from Thrawn was like, I don't know, like he was just a dude. Like he didn't. I didn't get any brilliance from him. He acted like he was brilliant, but ultimately he probably did what I would have done. Like, oh yeah, let's just ignore that problem over there while we can.
Like instead of coming across as brilliant, he came across as cocky.
I wanted them to break through our blockade. Actually, like that was kind of the attitude.
Yeah, they're like,
like he has an excuse. It's like, Thrawn, our thrusters we're all gonna die. It's like, I want us all to die. All along.
Life is meaningless, you imbecile.
I actually can't stand going back to the same galaxy I came from. I just want us all to die.
They can't defeat us if we're dead.
Who's the real loser?
Yeah. Life is suffering.
Oh my god. Well, if not New Republic animated series, if you guys had ultimate creative decision, what would you choose to be the next animated focus?
Old Republic.
Ooh, I should have known. I should have
like anytime, not like Revan's story per se, but like any time in the Old Republic. Like
I almost don't know if they can do live action Old Republic and do it justice. I really think like the only way they can do it is through animation because you can do so much more.
Yeah.
I really, I'm like really thinking, is it going to feel cheap if they do live action because of the way everything is looking nowadays with these shows?
I wouldn't be opposed to Old Republic, especially since, like, granted they are expensive as crap to make those Old Republic cinematics that go viral every time.
Well, I don't think they'll ever do that.
Do that animation,
like,
no.
Some kind of animation would be like the best choice, I think. Right.
Wait, this kind of reminds me, going back to Thrawn's brilliance. Thrawn's like, that's how we're gonna win, not by fighting what we hate, but by killing ourselves.
Oh my god.
There's like a chick on the ship is like, but saving what we love, and then like while she's saying that, he's like, by killing ourselves, and then just
she's like, no.
Oh,
I can't believe I didn't see it from the beginning. Captain, initiate self-destruct.
I have told all of you to never press this red button until now.
Long live the Empire.
It just blows up. Ezra's like, what? Ezra who snuck onto the ship. It's like, what? No. Ezra Bridger is on the ship. Initiate self-destruct. But Thrawn, we're gonna die too. I want us to die.
I won't be bested by him again.
Oh yeah, we still have a Filoni movie. Wait, is the Rey movie coming first now?
Filoni, the Mando movie allegedly is now first place. First release, Mando movie.
Dude, and again, I'm sorry, I love Pedro, but why is he in everything now?
I don't know. I don't. Why is he Mr. Fantastic?
He's getting
why
his
is he Mr. Fantastic? Why is he in Gladiator? Why is he in everything?
Because he's incredible. Because he's so
in the new
talented.
Gladiator.
I know, but you don't need to be in everything, Kat.
How do you think he feels? He probably wants a vacation.
Are you kidding me? He's making millions of dollars. He could care less.
Right. No, it's just sad because he's totally not. I think I'm just, if I have any bias about this at all, it's because I feel like Game of Thrones really put him on the map, but in my eyes, like Mandalorian is really what, really brought him to like prominence, and he's been popping off since then. So now I'm just salty, if anything, that he's too busy. He's not going to be able to even do Mando
Pedro
at all.
Is the new Chris Pratt. Yeah, but I feel like, okay, like nothing against Chris Pratt, but I think Pedro's actually like an amazing actor.
Yeah, I don't know how Chris Pratt is so big.
He's not bad. He's just not like Pedro is extremely talented.
But like he's been in so much now. Like, and he's a pretty prominent actor. But I was always like, he never quite matched up if you're going to compare A-list actors. Like he never was really there for me. I always kind of was like, oh, it's Chris Pratt, right? Kind of like when you see Jack Black, you're like, oh, it's Jack Black because he's a musician first, and he's a great musician. He's a good actor, but he's not like Leo DiCaprio. He's not like Brad Pitt. He's not like any of that. and that's kind of, I guess I clump him in with Chris Pratt. That's just who he is to me.
I feel
Just
like
another.
Chris Pratt has very, very great stage presence and charisma
Yeah.
that a lot of people do not possess.
I will say Guardians was great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
will say the Guardian, like he was really great in that one.
Mhm.
But that was the only performance that I think is why he's so big. Is because of
Oh
Guardians.
yeah,
I can't imagine anything else.
It's
coming
100%
anywhere
the
close.
original Guardians. Because
Yeah.
like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, he's very meh, and I would say that's his next
Yeah,
biggest
generic
role.
hero man. Exactly.
Yeah, I'd like to see him do like a really challenging role that's outside of his type.
Yeah.
Um,
You know who surprised me? Bradley Cooper. Like when he started getting all those intense roles, he surprised the hell out of me after
Yeah.
Hangover.
the
Like, he's
duality,
great.
right?
Have you seen that one where he's a chef?
Burnt, yes.
Yeah. Isn't that
It's a
good?
really
Isn't that a
good
great
movie.
movie? Oh
It's
my
awesome.
god, he is
Mhm.
incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I
Star
was right
is
there with him
Born.
there. Like so good. Yeah.
All right,
Have you guys-
kids.
we'll end the stream, and we'll talk about other shit. But thanks you guys. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We went 30 minutes over, than we intended
Did
today.
we?
We will be here for the watch party an hour before, whatever time it is. Zach may or may not be here, but he will be there for the actual watch party that we're going to do and the video that we're going to be posting later on this channel. So Cat's confused. I'll
I
ask
didn't
her what's
follow along
confused,
too
but
much.
Being
the
confused
stream.
is Cat's strategy.
like the stream, like both of, because this is being restreamed on a cat. So come
True,
on over
true.
and like and subscribe to us and support our podcast over here as well. And we will see you guys next time.